Hi, Allegra. How are you today?
Hi, Michelle. Great to see you.
I'm so delighted to invite you and that you said yes to come on to the segment of Opportunity Knocks.
Oh,
And I want to introduce you, but in addition, I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. But let me tell our audience just a little bit about what Opportunity Knocks is. It's a segment that airs every week where we feature a different female entrepreneur. And the reason why I started this segment was truly to provide women with the thought process that opportunities do exist. So I think often as women, we get caught in our head and we decide that our idea is not good enough or we choose not to move forward. And I wanted other women to be given hope that opportunities exist. It's how we create, how we take, how we evaluate, and how we make opportunities. And so it's all different types of women. And we're lucky enough to be joined today by Allegra Richdale, who owns and is the founder of Tessa James Collection, which is a clothing company, but it was inspired by her daughter and also her grandmother, correct?
my mother.
My mother, yes. I
Yes,
was
yes.
forgetting.
No.
So, but what I'd love for us to do is first just start by you telling them a little bit about yourself and your company and how you came to be.
Oh,
James Collection.
thanks for that fabulous introduction, Michelle. And I'm so impressed with this whole format and what you're aspiring to do with it. I think it's a brilliant idea. And as a small business owner, it is so wonderful to have it and to learn from it and learn from others. But my story simply begins with Tessa James, truly inspired by my mother. She and I had a remarkably close relationship and friendship as I became older, a legitimate friendship. And she was sadly stricken with ALS way too soon in her life. And when she died, I sort of reevaluated what I wanted to do with my life. I was an attorney at the time practicing and wanted to honor her spirit, but not be steeped in the sadness that surrounded her exit from this world. It was not her story. She was a beautiful, brilliant, stylish woman. And I wanted to bring that to the forefront to my memories and to the world's memories.
That's a beautiful way of honoring.
That sounds grandiose to the world's memories, but I just wanted to capture.
No, I think it's important, and I think it's beautiful that that's part of the story of its origin.
Well, it is, and I had stumbled upon a photograph of the two of us in Back Bay, where I grew up in Boston, and it sort of captured us. Like and I thought, this is it. I'm going to create a clothing line that reflects how she dressed me as a little girl, pieces that my own daughter wore when she was little, because my mom packed them away and saved them for when I had a daughter, which is remarkable foresight.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You know?
So Tessa did wear these dresses and loved them, and she called them her kindergarten dresses when she went off to school. And I thought, this is a concrete example of the values we pass from mothers to daughters, from generation to generation. It's just clothing. It's superficial and frivolous, but behind it sits all the love and the care and the hope that we want to keep these connections going and that they're meaningful. And
yeah, well, it's also a mark of our presence, our image. Like, how do we present ourselves to the outside world?
Yeah.
And as a mother, especially in those days, our mothers very much cared about the way we looked and the way our hair was, and
absolutely.
And
yes.
I understand that. I kind of miss those traditions.
Well, the other thing, our clothing is sort of devoted to keeping little girls as little girls. We're focused right now on babies through maybe age 8, size 8, maybe squeezing out a 10 here and there in some designs, because I think we all know I'm the mother of a teenager now, 14, and crop tops come really fast, and they all want to wear what's current and fashionable. And whatever you think about that, that's up to you. It's a losing battle if you don't want it.
Exactly.
But we want to dress our little girls, but as long as we can, and sort of celebrate childhood. And that's what we aim to do with our designs as well. And that they're very clean and fresh and timeless is the goal.
So when did you launch? What year?
Well, officially in this capacity as Tessa James, it's a 2-year line.
Okay.
Sort of grumbled around for some time before that, finding our footing under a different name, not sort of getting our feet wet with it, and then relaunched as Tessa James, and this is where we are now. So it's 2 years into the new line.
Okay. And so in which case, seeing it and obviously going through those growth stages and things like that. And as we know, brands continue to evolve.
Yeah.
That's part of life, is that we just consistently go through transitions, and that's how we learn. So is it only dresses?
No. We have subtle variations. There are skirts.
I like it.
There
I
are
didn't even know you had skirts. See?
Yes, we have skirts. We have t-shirts. We have a little pant, like a capri set, which is inspired by Audrey Hepburn.
So cute.
And we have in our baby line, onesies, rompers, little diaper cover shorts, and we're adding significantly more in the next couple of months. But one of my favorite products are the Mommy and Me robes. Are named after
Valentine's Day is coming up.
What is that? Oh, they're perfect.
And I'm going to get mine.
Yes.
I can't wait.
You can get one for yourself, your mother, your grandmother, your friend, or you can match with your kid if you have one, or not match. It doesn't matter. It's really for any woman that loves a robe.
I love that. So tell me, when we look back and you mentioned that you were a practicing lawyer. In fact, actually, I didn't know that. I learned something about you. I knew you went to law school and everything, but I thought, oh, you went to law school and then perhaps didn't actually practice. So what was that transition like? So your mom, gets ill and passes, and did you take time in between the inception of Tessa James and also being a lawyer, or tell me the series of transitions so I understand.
It was all, it sort of coalesced together. When she died, I was thinking about segueing into a different kind of law. I was in something called legal malpractice. So I was in a boutique law firm and representing other lawyers, defending other lawyers. And I loved the practice, but truthfully, litigation was too hard to maintain the family life that I wanted to have. Again, I came to this late in life because I had been an actress for 10 years after graduating from college, and I lost.
I totally see that. I could see the actress. I don't see the lawyer.
A lot of people didn't. They're like, are you aware that's kind of hard to go from acting to law school at whatever, 30 years old?
Yeah.
And it's true.
Like, I got this.
I know. I think I longed for a more normal life after acting, and I truly am an academic at heart, and I needed that feeding my brain, and I wanted to do something immediately constructive and that I had autonomy over, and law was a perfect solution for that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it, but the life was not how I envisioned for the future. It just, again, was a schedule I just didn't
want to keep.
It made me feel sick. I was incredibly anxious every day in that practice, and feeling like this isn't something sustainable for my personality.
Yeah, well, most, most lawyers are not that happy in their jobs in general.
Right.
And
yes.
It's interesting because it was one of the things that came up for me that, like when you do those career profiles, that I would be a good lawyer. And I was like, oh no, it would take away my soul. You know, I
Yes.
think I think I would enjoy the research component of it probably, but I can understand why, particularly with a family. I think you bring up a really good point. Is for women that are looking for opportunity, they have to choose. How does this affect my family life? And it sounds like being a lawyer wasn't something that would serve you.
Not ultimately. And plus, I love to be creative and I love clothes too much.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So, did you have any fashion background prior to Tessa James' collection?
Not formally at all. I am a fashion fan. My mother and I devoured fashion magazines and is that
Yeah,
something you're familiar with?
I'm familiar, but I don't know about our viewers. It
No, but decades ago, W was like a
was
newspaper.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd see every season was reduced to these little tiny pictures of the models coming down the runway, and you sort of looked at all the different outfits. This is pre-internet, everything, and it it was just my Bible.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Exactly.
And it was in my DNA, truly, because my mother adored it, and as did my grandmother. So um, it was something I always noticed, I appreciated, I cared about. And in fact, I met my partner through high fashion. And she had come up with great designers working in their ateliers. And she also had a formal wedding gown collection that she designed and founded. And that also that chapter of her life closed for various different reasons, and we met just as that was happening, and she was so excited to take on this project.
That's amazing.
So she comes at the close with an eye for structure and manufacturing and quality control, and that's what um, we complement each other so well, because I have ideas but I can't sketch them
And execute them. Yeah.
and
You're a creative director.
at times, yes, absolutely.
Well,
I
you
will
have
also
to be.
too, but I we share so much of the creative.
Yes.
Um,
Tell me, because you bring up a really good point. I think you're the first person that I've interviewed since March, when this started,
uh,
that has a partner. So
yes,
I think that this brings up a really good point around collaborating with a partner.
hmm,
And when you're choosing to go into entrepreneurship, how you go about not only just finding the right partner, but also like what it means to be in partnership.
yes, it is complicated. You hear of many partnerships souring
Mhm.
and things going wrong, and I can say that we met completely as strangers, and at this point now we have a deep friendship,
Mm.
and the business element has had its ups and downs.
Mhm.
Um, to get used to each other. I'm incredibly exacting and to it frustrating to it probably most, and I can be very annoying because I'm so specific, and
But
um,
what makes you
I,
think that you do?
I what yeah, I tend to go from 0 to 60 in frustration. So you have to deal with me,
Mhm.
and same token, I have to deal with her style. But now we get it, and we bumped along, and we appreciate that in the other because we know we're working for the same goal.
So did you know in the beginning that, so for example, a lot of people when they choose to go into business, they're not calling them a partner yet. They may say, "Oh, let's just, see how this goes and kind of flow." Or did you truly choose to go into partnership from the beginning?
From the very beginning, we drew up a memorandum of understanding. It was specifically outlined. I, being a lawyer, wanted to protect the situation and for both of us. But ultimately, this was my baby, and I didn't want anything to go wrong with it. So I had a gut feeling about her, as she did with the project. I responded to her enthusiasm. I knew it was heartfelt, and it's proved to be true. It's as important to her as it is to me. And
I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah.
It's come a long, long way.
Yeah.
So
So tell me, what would you say to a woman who has an idea but hasn't stepped in yet? And
oh,
you kind of made a really good point earlier that you chose to be a lawyer at 30 years old when most people are like either looking to exit law at that point or they're actually really building their career toward partnership.
right.
So you've been through it. So what would you say to somebody who, they're over 30 and they think that their timing is over?
Michelle, I love this question. It's my favorite thing to answer. I am such a firm believer in change and going for it, and it's never too late. Um, we're so lucky in this life to have so many opportunities as women. The rules have loosened so incredibly. The expectations have loosened. Our independence is just astounding. It's come so far. Even this is so special on this day where we see a vice president who's a woman.
Yes.
Uh, and uh, if you feel the impulse and you can support it in with sort of the work and like there's enough underpinning that it's not just a pipe dream,
Hmm.
absolutely go for it. And you will feel younger at each turn. It keeps you young, it keeps your mind fresh, it keeps your friendships evolving, you meet new people, your world expands. And that's been one of the blessings of work for me. I just am meeting such interesting people that I didn't think, you know, was still in the cards. As an older woman, you think you've had your friendships.
You're older. You look so young. It must be the actress in you.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. Somehow she learned how to keep it on.
It's the Vaseline that's across this lens here.
No, it's beauty camera. Just kidding. Exactly. Oh my God, that's hysterical. So, what would you say, like, the greatest thing you've learned in these last, because it's been probably about 4 years from start to finish.
Yes, yes,
But yeah, but like 2 years of this new collection.
right, right.
What's the greatest learning?
Never presume. Um, Always double check. If
Mm,
you communicated something clearly, or you think someone's got the memo, understands what you mean to say, double check, go over it, make
mhm.
sure that everyone's on the same page. Because with clothing, for example, there can be a small mistake can lead to a huge mistake, and suddenly you have a delivery that's unusable,
Mhm.
um, sitting in your storage. Um, so that's like a technical thing. I would say that you really make sure you have been very specific, clear, and
Mhm.
communicated as best as you can.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that especially when you're moving so fast
Yes,
and you're on deadline, it's very easy. And I would have to say, I agree with you because I tend to, you can't make assumptions, right?
right,
You can't make
right,
assumptions because if you make assumptions and then there's a large error, there's nobody to blame but yourself.
exactly. The buck stops with you.
Hmm.
So um, make sure you have communicated. I'd say the other thing is the joy of succeeding.
Hmm.
That if you work hard enough and you take step after step and just every day do something towards your goal, you will get there. And it may be 4 years, it may be 8 years, it may be 3 years, but it will happen. And there's just at a certain point, you will start to feel it. You'll feel that grease.
Momentum. Yeah, I agree with you because I think it's also important to stay in your own lane.
Yeah, so good.
Because I
Yes.
think the thing is about, in your case, for example, because you're in a very dynamic industry, ever evolving, always changing, very on trend. And it's easy to be comparing The
Mm,
nice part in some ways in your case, you really are in a niche like market of a larger market, and a
mhm.
niche that unfortunately has a demand, but people can't always find you.
Right. Yes. You can't compare in anything in life. You have to keep your blinders on and stay focused on your path, and not feel maybe stymied by others' success. Never take someone else's success as a reflection of you're not doing as well. There's
Absolutely.
room for everybody, right? And
Yeah.
just, yeah, to stay resolute in that. Like you have something to say, and there will be a place for it.
Oh, I love that. That's such great guidance. And I think that so many women out there need to hear that, because so often they're making comparisons or judgments, not only of others, but of themselves.
Mhm.
And, I'm sure, like we were saying, on this historic day of a woman taking office for vice president, like so many people could say things about her situation, but she probably didn't stop either. She
Yes.
stayed resolute. So that's be really
Think of all
beautiful.
that they've heard. Yes. Yes.
Mhm. So I wanted to ask you just a few more questions, because I know we want to be respectful of your time. But this is such a special project, near and dear to your heart, with purpose, like real purpose of why you wanted to bring it forward. My question for you is, what would you want to tell your mom today if she was still here to share this with her?
I would, I think she would just know how much I love her.
Mm,
I think it would speak for itself. I think she would be so happy that I found something that gives me joy.
mm,
It is meaningful work, to me, and that it's um, something that I do with an eye to my daughter as well. That it's there's nothing more poignant than being a mother, um, having been so well mothered and wanting to continue mothering in the same way and hopefully even bring more to it,
mhm,
um, from the lessons you have learned.
mhm.
And um, it's a privilege to show my daughter uh, that I'm doing something that I'm passionate about and carving my own way, and that she can see that and hopefully take that message to heart when she comes to a point in her life that she goes forth and leaves me.
Never, never. She's a girl. Come on, it's cliche. She'll never leave you.
I, she's not allowed to ever leave or get married. But I think that's a really extraordinary question, Michelle. And I, I think she would feel that she had done her job.
Mm. Well, I can only imagine, not ever having met your mother, but just knowing just this much about your family, how remarkable she must have been as a mom to instill such amazing values, that you're bringing this special gift forward. Because it
Thank
really is like, it's not just, it makes me tear up, but it's not just clothing.
you. No.
Because I feel the same way. I had very difficult time finding clothes that were representative of my childhood, or what I
Hmm.
wanted to impart to my own children.
Hmm.
And like, it's quality.
Yes.
First of all, we said it was purpose, but it's quality, it's beauty, it's timeless. you know
Yes.
it's childhood. It represents a true childhood, what a girl might want to reflect and represent.
Yes. And not to jump on the PC bandwagon really, but
But you
it
can.
is it is important that
Yeah.
we aren't just buying stuff and chucking it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a responsibility to buy fewer things, buy better things, pass them down, give them on to cousins, and our dresses will do that. They will
Gosh,
last.
they're amazing.
Yeah, and you can, put them away and then unveil them again with your own granddaughter.
I love that.
So,
I actually see that
not
would
rushing.
be interesting, like photography that you could do, or videos
Ah,
that you could do, where it's actually showing that the emotional connection through the generations, like generational. Yeah. It's funny. I just found a
yeah.
box that my sister gave me of like all these dresses of mine that my mom
Ah,
had left for me. And you're right. The quality is just, it's like a whole other level.
it's a whole other level, and you attach so much to those things. It's
Yes.
just the memories. It's like Proust Madeleine. It
I
just,
loved that dress. Oh my God. I wore it here.
yeah. You
Yes.
know when you wore it. Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
agree. So before we get off, I want to make sure if there's anything specific that you'd like to share with the audience beyond your Instagram and where to shop, but if there's anything more specific about like a collection that you have coming out or somewhere where they can find you beyond just your website.
Oh,
Of course, you could share your website and your Instagram too.
sure.
But,
Yeah, I will. Well, we do have an online boutique at tessajamescollection.com
mhm.
and Instagram at Tessa James Collection. And please follow us. We're hungry for followers. Um, Love it. And we're also currently on a platform called Maisonette, which is a wonderful one-stop shopping for all things childhood, from clothing to beautifully curated toys, and very cutting-edge new brands are always being represented there. So we've been with them since the inception, and they have been terrific. And I can really recommend them as a one-stop shopping place for anything you might want, as in terms of gifts and other clothes
Oh,
for
right
boys.
on. Good to
Don't
know.
have.
Yeah, because it's
Yes,
hard to find actually that age group and demographic to purchase
very much.
other than
And
going
they
to like Bloomingdale's or.
right. And
Mhm.
right pandemic, it's everything you need at your fingertips, without having to go anywhere. We are in a few small boutiques. Sadly, with the pandemic, a lot closed on the East Coast. So that was heartbreaking, because we were just starting to spread our reach in terms of boutiques. But it's steady growth online, and that's what where we are really focusing. Truthfully,
I
that's
think
sort
one
of
of the main things that came out of the pandemic for everybody was making sure that your e-commerce platform's solid,
yeah,
or that you
yeah.
have one, right? So, and that's what's amazing. I will say, oh, by the way, another thing people, which is that she has amazing masks. Honestly, like the most on trend chic masks that you'll ever have.
Oh, thank
So
you. That we're so thrilled about the masks, because it started out truly. We were donating to hospitals and frontline workers, using offcuts of our Liberty fabric, which is sort of our signature fabric in the collection, and it was by donation only. And we were using it to support our sewers here in Los Angeles. All the profits went straight to hit them, and it just word of mouth. It grew and grew through Instagram, and now it's a real product on our website, which is
they're amazing.
really exciting. And we're getting mask chains soon to go with that.
Good, because I
So
need one.
they're going to be quite cool, with little, I won't give it away, but cute little sayings on one side, and you can personalize them as well.
Well, you know, I like that.
I love that. I love a good monogram or a good
I
name.
love a good monogram. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And we have a new pairing of robes in new materials right now, which is, they're flying out. It's very
I'm
exciting to
actually
see.
going to go to the website just after we get off the call.
Okay.
Oops, where'd you go? You
Are
just
you
on me.
um, and a lot of people are using them as beach cover-ups now in different climes. So that's
Oh,
a
you know
really
what? I
cool.
saw that. I thought that was super chic idea as well.
Yes,
Reserved for
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just really want to thank you for coming on and sharing with our viewers. Just everybody's experience is so different. And I love what comes out of these interviews, because each person has a gift to inspire another. So thank you for your time, and I'm super grateful.
Oh, of course, as am I, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to stop our recording.